To start our day off on a positive note, we're going to go ahead and introduce a poll. It's an interactive way for us to engage with you to see what your opinions are. We'll have two polls during this presentation and would love to see your responses. In a moment, you should see a new window popping up on your screen and that says polling. I'm going to go ahead and open the poll. All right. And read the question to you. And the question is, how did you find your last job? Was it a newspaper advertisement? Was it B, help wanted sign? C, online job boards such as Minnesota Works, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, etc., whatever your favorite job boards are? Or was it D, networking, whether it was traditional network, family, friends, colleagues, or was it your social media network, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc.? As we're coming up on the close of that response, as you submit your answers, I do encourage you to turn up that volume, find a comfortable but not too comfortable place to set up for this morning, as we have a lot of things to unpack for you. So as the questions come in, it's still jumping around. It looks like we had a really good response for all these, which is awesome. I want to let you know that your questions do matter to us, and we'll be getting them at the appropriate time during this session. We are hopeful that this workshop will help recognize different methods for job searching, identifying the perks of using the state's labor exchange, Minnesota Works, two other third-party candidate work job boards. Sorry, I couldn't think of what I was saying on that one. The importance of balancing a job search strategies, improving your current networking efforts such as cold calling, elevator speech, informational interviews, etc., and demonstrating how this role of social media, although ever-changing, is here to stay. As that first poll closes, what are your thoughts? Hopefully you can see them on your board. I'm not 100% sure what you get to see on there, but I can read them out loud. We had 0 people out of the 70 plus that responded to this question say help wanted sign. 1 person said a newspaper advertisement. We're seeing a shift to more online. So we got online job board, which had 31, and networking, whether it's traditional or social media, at 30, or 39, I should say. So that is huge. That is telling you why people are here today and wanting to know more about how to look for jobs online, because it's always changing. We can see and understand that people find work from any number of job search or advertised sources. That is why we encourage seekers to focus their job search to industry or career specific job boards that yield results. Set up certain days to cruise those websites and allow yourself ample time to network. A common problem we do encounter with a lot of job seekers, and this may sound familiar to you, that you have this tunnel vision when it comes to looking for work. We narrow that job search criteria so specifically to a word, a past job title, or phrase that may be outdated, and we search by occupation that is declining. Therefore, we encourage seekers to look beyond the job title of what you've had. In the chat, I'm going to go ahead and throw a useful tool to help you find additional job titles that are common or up and coming, that might be familiar to you, just what employers are using today. Other job seekers fall in love of the ease of applying online with a click of that one button. If there's one thing you take away from this session today, avoid mass applying. In fact, avoid applying directly through a third-party website if you can. Always go to the company's website if there's an opportunity, or through the company itself. This will only cloud your job search success if you are mass applying, going through the Indeeds of the world. Instead, prioritize what you find. First, apply for the positions you know you are a great fit for. Not with that silly quick apply feature, but with a tailored resume that tells the appropriate story on how you are the right fit for the position. If you are skimming the job boards and you find your dream job, verify that it's a true job. Don't use the links that are within the posting. Do your due diligence and research that position. It is best to use caution on the internet. If there are no caution flags thrown regarding the position, respond immediately with a tailored resume and cover letter through the company's correct employment portal. Unfortunately, closing dates are not written in stone. Some dates are assigned, but many private sector jobs will close an opportunity after X amount of applications have been submitted, or they find an ideal hire. To make myself stand out from the other applicants, I like to call and talk to the hiring authority directly responsible for the position, and I ask for a complete job description, not just the job posting, the 40 words, the 70 words, the short snippet of the job duties, but the full job description, expected closing dates, and who I can tailor a cover letter to. If there is no luxury of connecting with the employer before applying, follow up with a phone call post submittal, typically 2 to 3 weeks. Currently, Minnesota Works is the state's labor exchange. More or less, it's an online job board. What separates this website from familiar ones online, such as ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, Indeed, or LinkedIn, is that Minnesota Works is 100% free to the end users, both employers and job seekers alike. You see, most of the online job boards, anyone with that credit card can post a job. Minnesota Works, employers who are looking to hire within Minnesota will be considered. In fact, all employers are heavily vetted prior to accessing Minnesota Works resumes, which have been known to minimize the riff-raff scammers. As a job seeker, this is exciting as our virtual caution flag can be comfortably tucked back into our pocket as we cruise Minnesota Works, looking for our next opportunity. Currently, there are well over 79,000 jobs listed today, and less than, I think I saw 14,000, it could even be more, less than that, resumes. And each job seeker can have up to 5 active resumes on this site, which means there could be maybe even instead of 5-digit resumes out there, it could be even 4. So get your resume out there, and you'll be in an opportunity to connect with an employer another way. You don't have to organize those resumes by a chronological format. Instead, you can build a resume that focuses on past skills and highlights those jobs that are relevant to your career, listing the employment dates in a month tally versus the start and end date, the physical start and end date. As you advance your job search, we understand that the application can be a barrier you and the job you're aiming to get. Strategy I have found helpful on an open application is to put more effort towards applying than the average applicant. If the position is open, call to verify the position is still open. Nothing is more frustrating for a job seeker than creating a resume for a dream job that closed this past week, month, year, or not even open at all. Ask to speak with that hiring manager who will be reviewing the resumes. Get their position title, correct spelling of their name. This will help you if you decide to draft a cover letter. And if possible, as mentioned before, ask for that job description breakdown to be emailed to your email. Even though many of us have found success in the past by looking for jobs online, moving forward, 75%, possibly 80% of the jobs you will find will be through people you know. Referencing that first poll, we had 30 of the 70 people say, hey, I found it online. Well, networking, LinkedIn is online networking, so maybe some of those were up into the social media side as well. So we're looking at a true statement just in this local group. We encourage you to balance your online time with other job searching strategies. So don't just sit behind those job boards waiting, staring, hoping, praying, chanting, whatever you do to get a company to post, whatever it is. Don't sit behind a job board. Get out there. Um, Attend conferences if there are anything around you, networking events. Go get a cup of coffee and do some outside networking, participating, volunteering in outings or attending group outings. Before I move on, I want to open our second and final poll of the day and allow time for questions to be asked. This poll will be open for about 30 seconds. So after you answer, go ahead and throw it in the chat, any questions that are currently coming in, and we'll open that here in a second. All right, here comes the poll. How many people does the average American know? So if you think you're average, how many do you know? I have to say this question gets always a varied response. And in the last year, I've yet to see an agreed upon answer. So as you submit your final thoughts to this question, ask yourself, how many acquaintances do you have, and are you average? Before we share the answer with you, I'm going to explain who is in your network. Your network is a heck of a lot bigger than you think. Try reaching out to past friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, and others who are genuinely interested in your well-being. Those are the ones who are interested in your success. But with the labor shortages we've seen in the past year, employers are offering bonuses to their current staff, their employees, for referrals. Start spreading the word that you're open to new opportunities with your traditional network and on your social media network. Let others know that you are currently transitioning from one job to another and you're exploring new opportunities. It is humbling to see how others will go out of their way to help you jumpstart your career by leveraging their personal individual network. Considering all those additional factors, the family, the friends, neighbors, acquaintances, and their network, it is easy to speculate the answer to our polls is going to be in the hundreds. It doesn't mean each connection is invested in your future, but it does shed a light on the power of networking and how the right connections can make all the difference in job placement. Here's a rhetorical question to think about. Does your entire personal network know that you are open for opportunities? Have you let your siblings know? Have you let your children, your parents, friends, colleagues, past colleagues know? How about on your social network? Have you let people on your social network know? Today, with the use of social networking, I would theorize it would take less than 5 connections to reach any one person on this earth. To be impactful in your applications, go beyond simply applying. Find out who works there and connect the dots back to you. That's a fun activity to try on LinkedIn. Robust job search is about connection. It's not about that perfection. There is no perfect job search strategy that will work for everyone except networking. Whether you are job searching online or looking through the help wanted sign pages, there is one strategy that separates itself from the rest, and that is called informational interviews. We'll share what that is in the next few slides. But first, let's talk about the steps to get there and share the results of the poll question. So how many people does the average person know? We had 2 of the 88 that responded to this say 10. We had 22 say 50. 21 say 150. 25. Sorry, I have an incoming call. Ignore. All right. We had 21 with 150. We had 300 with 25 and 600 or more 18. So as we said, the agreed upon response is never agreed upon. So let's go ahead and show you how to get to that informational interviewing. The first step is becoming organized. Find an employer who wants to speak to, you want to speak to, and prepare some honest questions regarding their company or available positions. Write those questions down and maybe even create a script or something that is tangible, with talking points to help you get there. I'd rather be over prepared than under prepared and overwhelmed. Step two, before the call, practice out loud. It helps to hear how you sound and if you have too many filler words, such as like whatever your filler word may be. Step three, when the phone call is about to happen, find an environment free of distractions. I personally like using my vehicle because I can lock the doors. It's got a good soundproof. I don't have the kids pounding on the doors, whatever it may be. I can be all set up and just have a phone call conversation. Others like the den, the office, the bedroom. Please stay away from empty rooms, such as an unfinished basement. It will sound as if you're in the bathroom, causing an unpleasant echo. And dress for success is step four. Not like a suit or tie or an extravagant gown, but something comfortable. Jeans, button down, a polo shirt. And finally, step five, as you speak with the employer, smile. You sound happier and your voice fluctuates. Those who are unable to see you speak can hear you smile, and the brain paints a picture over the phone, which is an awesome opportunity for them to see who you are. If you have followed those steps and put the extra efforts into researching the employer, making a connection with them can come off as less daunting. Networking should never start off with, what can you do for me, or what jobs are available, or how much do you pay, or where do I apply? Those questions demonstrate your inability to do your research. If you have to impress the employer, if you want to, have a lighthearted and brief question. Let them know that their time matters and that you would love to have a further discussion to learn about their journey about the company or about the company, beyond what the website states or news article states. Ask them for an informational interview. Stay positive. You may hear no more than yes. For those who have tried informational interviews in the past or currently using them, have you found success? So I want to know this. So go ahead and respond to this question. For those who have tried informational interviewing in the past, have you found success? Even though interviewing is part of the strategy, it is merely just a casual conversation with someone who could help you get your foot in the door. Usually scheduled during a coffee break. So 10-minute conversation, 15-minute conversation. Success is found by those who are prepared for the meeting, dressed appropriately, prepared or direct the conversation, and have a shared interest in the company. As the conversation closes, follow up with a physical thank you letter, an email expressing your excitement to learn more about their personal journey, and if possible, ask to connect with them on LinkedIn. So we have some. I found that calling the human resources, I'm guessing that's going to come through it. Yeah, so yeah, they are stressed for time. But going for coffee, I like Dan's response. At least once a week keeps you positive. I know an individual from rural Minnesota that travels to networking groups in the Twin Cities for executives, and he found success doing that. So just getting out there and finding activities that you can do with others, and you don't have to schedule it right with that person. Go to LinkedIn, find out who works there, and start, rubbing elbows and talking to them. That's kind of a way to do it as you move forward in the job search. And then, of course, if you meet with them, find them on LinkedIn. They're already on LinkedIn. Add them. From TikTok resumes to Instagram portfolios, job seekers are devoted to finding innovative approaches to get noticed by employers. But for the most part, there are only three pillars of social media that really deserve our attention. That's going to be LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. The primary goal of social media is to help people connect with people, businesses connect with people, build communities and groups, share ideas, interests, and information regarding chosen professions. What started as a simple service out of a garage has evolved into a mandatory part of our creative job search series. The benefit of using social networks to grow your professional brand in terms of relationship building, portfolio creation, resume building, that all are endless. LinkedIn is a professional network site you can apply for jobs through. And LinkedIn and recruiters use LinkedIn to find potential job candidates. Facebook, Twitter are more so private social networking sites. We use these websites to express our personal beliefs and share sometimes not so pleasant articles. Be careful about what you post online. Consider Googling yourself and see what information comes up. If you do find something concerning on Google, like your name is maybe one of the top 10 most wanted individuals in America, consider adding your middle name or initial. Many, if not all, employers will look you up if considered for the position. Check out the link in the chat box to see what your Minnesota rap sheet looks like. So this is something that anyone can really access if they know a few key features about yourself. LinkedIn is no longer just a place to find people. It's a place of personal and professional growth, a place of business growth, a place of economic growth, and a place of that makes a difference in professional lives. It's a community where you can be inspired, build relationships, and discover unexpected opportunities. Regardless if you're avid or new to LinkedIn platform, the first thing you need to do is update all your information on LinkedIn. In fact, you need to become a LinkedIn All-Star as it increases your chances to be recognized tenfold. And I love this one for a chat. And if there are any questions that need to be addressed, Heather, at this time, I would love to take them. So here's a question for the chat, as some of you may be adding it. Did you know LinkedIn gives priorities to those who have an all-star status? Do you even know what an all-star status is? So I'll let a few of those responses come in, yes, no, whatever it may be. And as I thought, the first one's usually a no. So let's talk about achieving a LinkedIn all-star status. Achieving all-star status is a lot easier than what you think. You just need to spend some time completing your profile and a bit of maintenance keeping it up to date. To find out what level you are, go into your profile and look at your dashboard where you see your current level in the top right. If it's not there, you probably have everything that needs to be there. There are 5 levels awarded by LinkedIn depending on your profile's level of completion. As you complete your profile, you add more content, your profile strength increases, and you start out as a beginner status. That's just signing up for it, which is given to users with less than 50% completion. To get this, register for your profile, fill in the basic information, name, location, 1 job, and 3 skills. To reach 50% profile completion, you achieve an intermediate status. The intermediate status is followed by advanced, which is given to those who've reached 75%. Expert is given to those who've reached 90%. And an all-star level is those who are at 100%. So LinkedIn algorithms give priority to users to complete profiles by ranking them higher in search results compared to users with incomplete profiles. So it's worth investing some time every day, if you can, in tidying up your profile and making sure it is complete. Here are 8 steps to achieve an all-star status. The first step to an all-star status is posting a profile picture. Here's a good question for the chat. Of the images on the right hand of your screen, which images are appropriate for LinkedIn? Here's some recent data I just picked up on the LinkedIn website. Only 51% of LinkedIn users have a fully completed profile. 51%. We understand starting something new, can be intimidating. But if it is used right, if any tool is used right, it is usually successful. LinkedIn is worth your time investment. If you need motivation to finish or someone to kind of guide you there, call your career force, your local career force, set up an appointment, ask for someone to review your profile and or set deadlines, write it down on a post-it note again, hang it on your computer or whatever you access LinkedIn from. Include a profile picture. Having a high quality profile picture is important to get noticed on LinkedIn. Having an image on LinkedIn has 21 times more public profile views than users without one. Looking at the chat, we can see that everyone has an opinion on what is good. So for me, I look at it and there's two, if not three, that are really going to pop out to me. Typically, it's going to be B and C for me. Excellent quality, compelling light, good stances. You can see a majority of their face versus A is a busy background. What's in his comp? Is he a scientist or is he in a frat? D is busy background, poor lighting in E. And if you look at F, her head is chopped off. Even though my public LinkedIn profile is a little more playful than others, it clearly shows my face. It is well lit, yeah, ideally in daylight. Our phones that we have, or your family's phones that you can access if they're accessible, can take high quality, high resolution photos. So go outside. You can see I got natural light coming in on my right side. That is important to the job seeker for your photos, as it's going to make a more compelling, not dramatic, but well-lit circumstance. It's a clear representation. I'll show you my photo here in a second. But if we're looking for new opportunities, I always try to encourage those to go and get a professional headshot. Don't spend thousands of dollars. You can use your smartphone. Here's something I found out recently. Go to some of those state-sponsored career fairs because some of those advertise free LinkedIn headshots, which gives you an opportunity to get a headshot, dress up for the event, and promote yourself. Your goal with the headline is to appear in more searches and articulate your value proposition. There is no magic formula when it comes to the perfect headline. Your headline should align with what it is you're trying to achieve on LinkedIn. Ask yourself, who do you want to find you? What are they searching for? If you can answer those two questions, writing your headline will come off a lot easier and less daunting. This step is probably one of the easiest ways to get closer to an all-star status. When editing your profile, make sure you enter your country, postal zip code, and your industry. These areas tell recruiters where you reside and what industry you're in. A lot of recruiters will search for job candidates on LinkedIn using the industry and location settings. So if you leave this blank, you're going to be left out of those search results. The next step on 4, for this experience section, you'll need to include your most recent current position plus 2 prior positions if you have them. If you've been in the same role for the last 30 plus years, call the career force. We have unique ways to address those situations. According to Forbes, LinkedIn members with current positions are discovered, I believe it was 16 times more in recruiter searches, and their profile views increased by 29%. The experience points here, just like on your resume, should be achievement based and targeted towards the desired field. Your resume serves as an inspiration. It's not a place where you just copy paste and forget about it. There's formatting errors that will come with that. What I really love is at the bottom of your experience, you can say what skills do you possess in this position, and you can list 5 skills. I love that. That's a snapshot that all employers can see, and it also helps the AI systems work the bots work together to see who would be a perfect connection to that employer. To achieve all-star status, you also need to have at least 5 skills in your skills section. Include skills that you're good at and skills related to the keywords employers are using to fill candidates. An easy way to find additional keywords uh, that go with your ideal role is to cruise along your favorite job posting websites and see what 5 or 10 job postings in the similar category or industry that you're seeking, and use the buzzwords that you're seeing repetitively. After a while, you'll start noticing those certain words popping out. And then you can use that if it's true for your skill section. Or what you could do is give AI a try. Go to Google Bard, go to ChatGPT, come to the Career Force. We're kind of like a human AI when it comes to anything job search related. But Google Bard or ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing, whatever you want to use, give it a try. Out of all the sections in this post, in this summary of how to become an all-star, this section is usually the hardest for individuals. And before 2023, crafting a compelling summary took hours. I have to say, it took energy, it took tears, it took coffee, lots of coffee, to draft my summary, my about me statement. But with the cutting edge of technology that we're experiencing for all end users, what took hours can only take minutes now. In fact, if you go to my LinkedIn account and you looked at my about statement, 80% of I started with what I wanted to say. I put it all in there with all my fancy words, my wordsmith words. I put in there what I wanted to say, and I said, make this better. I gave that AI a prompt, and it popped out a really compelling about me statement, which I have to say, I creatively borrowed 80% of what they used, but all those words were mine. They just unjumbled my thoughts and put it all down on there. So that's kind of a fun tool to try. This tool unraveled my career highlights. It organized my thoughts and added some humor that connected to my headline. But if you are a self-proclaimed Luddite, a person who's opposed to new technology or ways of working, here are some conventional ways to help create a strong summary. I don't want to forget about you. An opening statement that clearly states or shows why you're on LinkedIn. A summary of your work experience. Don't go into like your work history and all that, just a summary, an overview of your work experience and most impressive and relevant skills. Make sure to include relevant keywords here to increase your chance of appearing in more recruiter searches. A few bullet points. Focus on your achievements rather than your duties. You can quantify your achievements with numbers and even start your bullets with an action or verb to demonstrate your value. And then a closing statement about what types of opportunities get you excited, get you out of the bed in the morning, and what type of roles someone should get in touch with you for. This is optional for you. You can put your contact information in the about me statement for direct reaching out versus just getting on your phone or your tablet, whatever you're using to access LinkedIn. And the 7, providing your education details. The biggest benefit of this, it allows you the opportunity to connect with others that you graduated with, other alumni from college, high school, or wherever you did your studies. This section is also especially important if you are a recent graduate or a student. To reach all-star status, the final one is to have 50 connections. You can connect with others by sending them an invitation or by accepting their invitations. You can also jumpstart your connections by allowing LinkedIn to match you up with people from your email address book. Another way to start is simply by using the search feature to find companies you used to work at and connecting with your ex-coworkers. ex-managers. Some people are like, oh, I burned that bridge, and reach out to them and say, hey, I really appreciated all your mentorship over the years. I'm sorry it ended the way it did. But I'm open to rebuild this bridge and see how we can work together to establish new connections. It's just, LinkedIn is so fun to use. You got to jump out there and give it a try. Another way to start using this, my headset might die. I think I can make it. Another way is just establishing connections and interacting is a core part of the LinkedIn, and the platform rewards you in search results if you have more connections. So getting to 50 was daunting when I first started. I mean, I was like, oh, who am I going to add? Should I add people that I graduated high school with? Should I add people that I just met in passing? Who should I add? I was very picky on who I added to start. And then I started building my network. And then it grew into something new. So every minute, this is straight from the CEO's mouth of LinkedIn. Every minute on LinkedIn, almost 200 people join. Every minute on LinkedIn, 9,000 connections are made. Every minute on LinkedIn, 4,500 applications are submitted, and anywhere around 3 to 5 people get a job. That's every minute on LinkedIn. That's why we should jump on it and start using it, but use it wisely as a tool and not as the only way you're going to do your job search. Networking is the key to job success, and it's difficult, even under the best circumstances. But networking while unemployed can be especially uncomfortable if this struggle is real for you. I feel it. Networking while unemployed is not as hard as it may seem. In fact, here are a few simple strategies you can do on LinkedIn to make the whole process a little easier and more productive. When LinkedIn became mainstream back in 2010, you may have probably unintentionally accepted an invitation to be part of someone's network. And we heard about Facebook back in 2003, 4, whenever that popped up. But we're like, okay, this is the next mega trend. It'll be a trend. I'll just sign in and forget about it. If that is true for you and you don't remember your username, or so much information has changed when you accepted that invitation, start fresh. If you have less than 25 connections, start fresh. Write down those connections' names so you can reconnect with them if you choose to, before you start growing your network. You can have the system, LinkedIn, walk you through the basics, identifying information, creating that headline, using work experience, updating your education, and possibly exploring your email connections. In 30 minutes or less, you can have a very productive presence on LinkedIn. If you have an established network, click on the connections and scroll through all those second and third degree suggested connections. Add a personal note and a short statement of how you know each other. And if relevant, view their profile and endorse them for a skill set you have witnessed. I just checked my account this morning. I have over 500 connections, first degree connections, and nearly 400,000 second degree connections I could be introduced to. That is crazy. When you are trying to establish yourself on LinkedIn or get more activity build up on or excitement about your account, you can add a personal note when you're recommending or writing a recommendation for a connection. Before it is sent, add a note that says, hey, I see the skill sets that you have. I'm impressed by them. I really appreciated your guidance, XYZ, whatever your story may be. You can have them kick you back one and ask for one in return, and give them an opt-out. Like, hey, no worries if you're too busy to write a recommendation for myself. I just know that you deserve this. Give them that little guilt trip, but allow them to get out. It's just a nice way to let them see that you invested your time, so they know that you're out there actively searching, and they know how impactful that recommendation can be. Follow. LinkedIn has over 800 million members with over 58 million registered companies. A strategy I employ is to follow the companies that I desire to work for. Click to see the people that have experiences with that company, past, present. Maybe there is a hidden connection that you've already established, and begin that conversation with those who are in HR or past connection. Ask for an informational interview. If you do a little research, those who have LinkedIn Premium will see that you dropped by. Another strategy I have used when actively seeking is to share the company's articles and comment on their recent posts. And then content. You have to have that relevant content by sharing articles, by posting on articles. Increase your LinkedIn traffic by sharing the articles relevant to your profession. Try adding a hashtag to the article before publishing. Another strategy is to engage with your connection with a name drop in the comments. Most importantly, invest your time into LinkedIn. Do not allow your account to become idle. There are a ton of tools accessible to those who are willing to try, such as including a video, including a hashtag, or incorporating an interview prep tool. With video being the next mega trend, LinkedIn has added a more human way to connect sharing by introducing stories along with other social media giants. This is allowing account holders to replace those essential water cooler moments with a short clip. And for those moments when a face-to-face meeting is the best way to get things done, they have added a video call over Teams, or I believe it is Blue Jeans by Verizon, or Zoom directly from their message thread. A perfect place to have that informational interview. With the influx of younger users joining the platform is catering to those needs with elevator speeches. To add an elevator speech, tap on your profile photo through the mobile app. It's got to be on this puppy. This feature does not work on your desktop yet. Then tap Add Profile Video, and you can introduce yourself with a 30-second video clip. After sharing the video, add the hashtag when posting content. You want to be searchable. When creating content for any social media posts that you want traction, we encourage adding a few hashtags with a simple phrase or word, 3 at most. Hashtags are a useful tool for networking, finding job opportunities, and sharing your own job search to get noticed by employers who are also using social media to recruit. How do we know hashtags are working? What is the best way to use them? If you use platforms such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, you probably are familiar with the hashtag, the pound symbol, followed by a word or phrase, no spaces. For the longest time, and these are some, I wouldn't say hire me. I should change that. I would not say hire me. But those are some hashtags that have been popular in the last 2 years. For the longest time, being out of work felt like it was shameful. Individuals felt shameful that they were out of work, and job seekers were apprehensive about sharing something so personal to them. Today, it's a 180-degree turn. We are open about ourselves. It's a turnaround. Job seekers are transparent and honest in their posts. Your network wants to know you. They want to support you, and they want to hire you. Therefore, your network of connections, employers, and recruiters should know you are open for work. Although some influencers on LinkedIn or experts are skeptical of this feature, the best thing to do is give it a try and find out for yourself. Whether you choose to use this banner or not, we do encourage using the next feature, as you will be able to engage with your network even further. I'm really excited to share this last tool as we finish out our time together. So if you have any burning questions, please get them into the chat. And remember that your local career force has a network of professionals that are ready to assist you with your job search. Navigating to this section is the interview. It's actually pretty easy to get to. So if you go over to the briefcase, the jobs area, you click on jobs in your left navigation, which is above the mock questions on this slide, you'll see interview prep, I believe is the call for it. So you can jump on that in a matter of seconds, but in case you're unable to navigate to that and you want it on your chat, I just posted in the chat. There are 26 common interview questions that employers ask and why they ask them. So it breaks down the interview questions like, hey, this is the interview. Can you tell me about yourself? It breaks it down and says, okay, this is what the employer is really asking. So I really enjoy using that one. There are categories. If you are saying, you know what, that's basic level. I need something more industry specific as an account executive. If you feel the common questions are not the normal ones you would encounter in your profession, you can also select from a range of categories and narrow your search results to an additional 14 industries: wealth management, software engineering, I believe sales development, relationship and project manager, marketing manager, investment banking, a success manager, I believe is even in there. So any one of those, I'm trying to think of the last three. Oh, administrative assistant, accountant, business analyst, and corporate finance. So those, there was four, I guess. So if those are your industries or closely related, check them out. Give it a try. This is a robust way to maximize your job search. Once you do that, you can actually jump over and have and ask for feedback. So when you get those questions finished, whether you type it or you speak into it, you can actually have your response recorded, and you can access your first degree network and say, what do you think of this? You can also have artificial intelligence look at how fast you talk. Was it appropriate speed? You can also have them look at how many filler words you have. So, I mean, there are so many technologies and tools out there that we have in the hiring process. Using automation tools in that hiring process is nothing new. And there's a good chance that your applications to jobs have been screened by a machine looking for relevant keywords or seeking to rank candidates. LinkedIn's own recruiting systems have used AI to suggest candidates for years. There are so many tools we could unravel during this 1 hour workshop, but we don't have enough time. So what I want to leave you here is we've selected the tools that we believe could be impactful for your job search, wherever you may be, whether you have no connections on LinkedIn, haven't even created an account, or you have 500 plus. These are some tools that will help you get to where you want to be. And hopefully today you can take a few of these suggestions to see what works for you, or maybe what might be dated. For those who are new to LinkedIn and would like to create an account, we do have staff at our local career force ready to guide you through the process of setting up an account and be available to provide advice or additional strategies on how to expand your job search knowledge. Heather, we have 5 minutes and a lot of questions, I think.
We do. So a couple repetitive questions. So I've taken those out. So I think we'll be able to get through most of these.
Okay.
So we'll just jump right in. The first question is, does MinnesotaWorks.net include project or contracting work?
So that's best to explore. I don't think it has many opportunities, but there is some good news on the forefront. For us who are using mobile devices, Minnesota Works is a very outdated platform, to say the least. It's very, it hasn't changed since 2008 or 10 when it came out. But we have news coming in 2024 that we are exploring what the platform will look like before we launch it to the public. Heather knows a lot more about that. Maybe she can share something. I don't know.
Yeah, so MinnesotaWorks.net, we typically encourage employers to post only W-2 employment. We don't really allow anybody who would be receiving a 1099 at the end of the year to have that position posted. You know, just, W-2 employment, they should be paying, into Minnesota unemployment insurance, all of those good things. That being said, there are opportunities out there just because an employer only has a W-2 position. They also sometimes do say they offer that position as a 1099 or a contractor or project work. So it's just something that you may have to kind of connect with the employer on. As far as I know, MinnesotaWorks.net is not super mobile friendly. All of our positions from MinnesotaWorks.net do index over to careerforcemn.com. So you can use the job search feature on careerforcemn.com and you'll see all of those MinnesotaWorks.net positions as well. When you go to apply, it will direct you back to MinnesotaWorks.net though. So keep that in mind.
Awesome wealth of knowledge right there.
Yes. And more information on hopefully a replacement here in 2024. I'm working on getting that website updated for everybody. Next question is, how would you work around a company wanting to keep hiring managers anonymous?
Uh, yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. There's a reason that they are hiring anonymously, that they don't want people to know that they're about ready to possibly terminate someone who's already in that lead role, and they don't want to show possibly stock individuals. So if you see the job posting on Minnesota Works or LinkedIn, it's an anonymous posting. If you do your if you just take a few moments and you copy the job description and you post it in Google, parts of it that's very unique to you, you might be able to actually find out who that company is from past postings, because that position has been posted in the past, most likely. It's never a new position. So it'll give you an idea of who potentially is posting that. So that's one workaround. Otherwise, you can always explore different opportunities by using AI and just saying, hey, you know what? I can't find this, or jump over to us. We'll try to help. We'll see if we can uncrack that code.
Absolutely. Here's my LinkedIn login was my former work email address. Do you know how to change that over to my personal email?
First question I would have is like, how many connections do you have? Is it worth the hassle? Otherwise, I believe you'd have to go through the LinkedIn help desk and actually reach out to them to change it. I don't think there is any way you as an individual can change that, because you're unable to unlock that. I know recently I had to do that with a subscription of something that I no longer have an email account for, and I changed my phone number. So you would have to call the company. LinkedIn would be the company. Wait on hold, or maybe ask those common ask questions. But that is a common one we do see in here. And our best advice is to reach out to LinkedIn directly.
How can we get the latest ways to update LinkedIn?
So yeah, the latest ways with the updates of LinkedIn is all about self exploration. So if you want to know about what's new on LinkedIn, follow LinkedIn on LinkedIn. Follow LinkedIn on Facebook. Wherever you get your feeds, put a save search in there for certain keywords, buzzwords, hashtags. Great way to say LinkedIn changes or see what's working on that. That's a great way to find out and actually try some of these strategies.
Great. And then this was a big question. Is a paid LinkedIn subscription or premium necessary or beneficial?
That's a couple part question. Is it necessary? No. LinkedIn offers free versions to everyone. Is it beneficial? Yes, it can be beneficial. If you are out there and you are fully engaged in LinkedIn, invested, you have hundreds upon hundreds of connections, and you keep on seeing people look at your profile, but you don't know who's looking. And you're like, wow, I need to unlock this premium category to see who's looking. and you want to know so you can connect with them and have that informational interview, that could be a way to say it. If you are a veteran, you can get LinkedIn for free for 1 year, LinkedIn Premium. Otherwise, they do offer the 30-day bundles, but I'm going to caution you, if you're using it daily and you love it and you're invested wholeheartedly and you're established, be established for a month before you try that premium free. That way, you're not wasting your time as you're building your network. You're established and you can see how you can really get out there. So it's a personal opinion on that one.
Yeah. And I know we kind of covered these next two, but I would just want to ask them for clarification. Is it a good idea to set open to work? Sometimes it seems desperate to me.
Yes, and that's what is skeptical. As I mentioned, a lot of influence, not a lot, I should say, it's 50-50 on the influencers out there on LinkedIn. They, I talked to a job seeker who lived, I should say, about a mile away from me. He was looking for executive level roles. He threw that on, and he was able to get a job because of that banner. He did have to relocate, which he was fine because he grew up in the area that he was relocating to. So he moved up to northern Minnesota. So we're happy that we were able to obtain his talent. I also worked with another senior executive, and he had the open to work feature. That didn't get him the interview, but it got his connections. He's well over 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. So, I mean, it's all about how you invest it. Try it, feel how the water feels when you get in. If you're not liking your results, take it away. Give it a month, put it back on. It's just fun to play around.
Next question. I cannot find my status on LinkedIn. Where does it tell the status?
Oh, the all-star status. So this one, I should break it down, but I believe if you don't see the all-star status, you've already met the all-star status, I believe. Now, back when I was trying to achieve it back in 2012, 14 timeframe, it was a notification at the very top that says, hey, this is where you're at in your all-star status. Now I believe you have to go into your settings. I would have to walk through it. I'm going to actually create that. That's a great thing that I'll do today. So I'm going to get back. And in the information that we send out, just so I don't lead you astray, I will put it exactly how to get there in a step-by-step tutorial.
That's great. Thanks, Sam. And I'll make sure to send that to everybody tomorrow. And then for the interview prep, that last tool that you showed us, do recruiters review your answers or does your network review those answers?
Your network. So it's only your first degree connections. Great question. So it's only your first degree connections that can see those if you shared it with them. It's not, hey, I post this on here. It's, hey, can you review my responses? People that you really want to know or hear feedback from.
All right. And last two questions. Is there any data that you have on the usefulness of the LinkedIn videos?
Not yet. That's relatively new. It was during the pandemic or the last 2 years. It's new. I'm seeing it. With the mega trends of video, I can see the impact it can have, especially the new users. And I can see the elevator speech where it's engaging. But if you're stiff and you're uncomfortable with it, it's probably not for you. It's going to be for certain professions. Is how I would see it moving forward.
Great answer. And then final question, do we need to register for the next 5 sessions or are we going to get the link through email just for being in this session today?
That's a great question for Heather. Heather, can you take this one?
I can. You would need to register for each individual creative job search workshop, and you can do that. You can find those workshops on careerforcemn.com. It will then prompt you, just like you did for this one, to log into your minnesotaworks.net account, and then it'll get you registered for those individual sessions. You'll get the link to join that session the day before that workshop starts. And if you have any questions or you don't get that link to join, please give us a call. I'll put the phone number in the chat too, but it's 651-259-7500. Press option 1 and we'll make sure to get that link to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, thank you for joining us today. And I remind you, 75, 80% of your future careers are going to be found through the network. So get moving, get up, expand your network, and visit us at the Career Force. We're friendly staff. We would be happy to provide you with more local strategies to incorporate in your ongoing job search. As a last reminder, all the information, resources, links, and copy of our slides will be sent out in an email associated to your Minnesota Works account in the next 24 hours. Enjoy your celebrations in the coming days. We are knocking at the doors of the winter solstice and the new year to enhance your job search. Again, thank you for joining us today. And reminder, tomorrow, 1 to 2:30, sign up for it. We'll be hosting an interview workshop. You can find this workshop and many more from our Career Force from Anywhere website, and I will throw that in the chat. And I believe, Heather, did you put the phone number in the chat too?
I'll do that right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I got some homework that I'm going to do for you. I'm going to find out the best ways to just write it down. Tutorial on the All-Star status, so we can get you going to see where you're at, seeing if you're an expert or if you're intermediate, beginner, or if you're all the way up to where we are with the All-Stars. Thank you.
Thank you.